Every day while I'm on the radio, I get somewhere around 4 or 5 people WhatsApping me to say, I've just got a letter from my bank, or my wife has just got a letter from her bank saying that fees will increase from the 1st of May because of the half a percentage point increase in VAT. And I go, yeah, I know. I've got that as well. I've got that from my bank. I've got that from other people with whom I have debit orders. And they all say the same thing. They all believe it is going up by half a percentage point on the 1st of May. And I had that conversation, which I suspect I will be replaying on the 1st or the 2nd of May with Herman Mashaba of Action SA, defending the stance that they took on the budget and continuing to aver that they had saved South Africa an increase in tax and also got those South Africans who are lucky enough to have salaries that change and put them into different tax brackets, that they'd relieved them from that as well. I was skeptical then. I'm even more skeptical now. And my next guest wrote an article that appeared on News 24 over the weekend, which I think explained it wonderfully clearly, why there will be, almost certainly, a VAT increase. I don't want to pay, and it's not as if I want to be right. I don't want to pay half a percentage point more for VAT and all of the other things that will lead to. But that guest is Dr. Gumani Chimomola, who's a senior researcher with the EFF. Good afternoon to you.
Well, afternoon, John, to you and all the Cape Talk listeners, and thank you very much for having us. Let me tell you, I also don't want to pay, but more than that, I don't think I can afford a VAT increase.
But we are going to get it. You're convinced that unless there is the highly improbable, practically, new law, we will have a VAT increase. The laws which govern budgetary matters, you explain in your column, make it crystal clear it is law that there will be a half a percentage point increase.
No, certainly, John. And look, the thing about Parliament, in my 10 years experience or so, is that it's a creature of statutes. Parliament work in rules and laws. So whatever you do, including when you set a sitting, what time it starts, and how you order items on the order paper, you will see that there's either a rule or legislation. But the thing about this VAT and what makes it a certainty, that 1st of May is going to kick in. And unless we do something that is out of the defined rules or laws of Parliament, then maybe there may be a political miracle. Let's call it a political miracle. But the thing that gives me more certainty about this is that I was in that meeting on the 2nd of April, the Joint Standing Committee on Finance and Select Committee. And Action SA, when they made their proposal, they were 100% certain that come 1st of May, there's not going to be VAT. And they went on to defend that position, I think the first 2-3 days after the adoption of the fiscal framework in the National Assembly, until it was explained to them that, first of all, there's something called money bills amendment procedure, which is a law. And that law dictates how you amend or process the fiscal framework. Then they started changing their tone from, we have successfully defeated or scrapped VAT from coming into effect on the 1st of May, to now, if it's implemented, we would have made a mistake, we accept, but it will be temporary. That tells you that they did not understand what they were proposing, and I go into detail in the article. But the bottom line is that come 1st of May, there is going to be a VAT increase.
You do say that without a VAT amendment bill or a new revenue bill, the hike cannot be legally reversed. I don't know what appetite there is in government for a VAT amendment bill or a new revenue bill. Paul Mashatile, speaking this morning, was saying that the government is not averse to removing the VAT increase in the future if Treasury meets its revenue targets. And that suggests that a very senior member of the government is not thinking about not having a VAT increase on the 1st of May. But let's assume that the ANC caucus, there are enough ANC MPs who are very unhappy about the prospect of a VAT increase, and they put pressure on Treasury collectively and so on. Is it possible between the 7th of April and the 1st of May to get a VAT amendment bill or a new revenue bill through Parliament?
Firstly, John, look, the bills which are going to amend VAT and bring into effect the 0.5 percentage point have already been introduced in the National Assembly. That's the first thing. So those legislations are already there with a VAT increase, right? And they were introduced on Friday by a notice of Gazette. That's number one. But number two, and this is where the 30-day action essay proposal is a bit problematic. Between today and the 1st of May, Parliament has a recess, a break. So that means that if you go to Parliament precinct now, it's as empty as when the schools are in holiday, where you don't find kids in a playground at a school. Members of Parliament are on recess, effectively, meaning that they've gone back to their constituencies and they're engaging with their constituencies on their parliamentary work or whatever that they're doing during recess, which will include political party work. So the idea that between now and the 1st of May, there could be some form of intervention, either through an optional revenue stream, different revenue amendment bill, or any of those things, it's not made provision for within the current parliamentary program, which was agreed to by the last National Assembly Programming Committee. But also, if you look at the dates and what is before us, between now 25, 6 days or so until the 1st of May, the Minister of Finance says, I'm willing to listen to all the proposals. And should anyone give me a better proposal, then I'll be able to consider them. The minister is not saying that VAT won't come in on the 1st of May. He has said explicitly that on the 1st of May, there's going to be a VAT increase. There's no doubt about it. But it's a question of leaving the conversation open, engaging. And I argue that it boils down more to political engagement outside the legal framework which is provided for. Hence, I don't see how they can then argue that 1st of May, we have agreed amongst ourselves, ANC senior leaders, we've had an NEC meeting and we agreed there must not be a VAT increase. What is a bit problematic about the position that is being taken here, and that's why maybe I have some doubt. The report which was adopted by the Standing Committee on Finance, it has problems itself, the way in which it was adopted. It is beyond the legal framework. The legal framework says either you amend or you accept the fiscal framework as tabled by the Minister of Finance. But they don't do that. They accept and then make a condition. And these conditions, what they do is you are taking back your responsibility that you are given by the Constitution back to the executive, whereas they know very well that they can't instruct the executive unless through a piece of legislation or a resolution of the National Assembly, which we are not going to have a sitting between now and the 1st of May. So that's what makes this problematic. We are now beyond the legal framework that is provided for a good reason, how we must amend the fiscal framework when it's tabled by the Minister of Finance. And the last point on this one, let's say that they find each other and agree to amend this VAT issue. The problem with that is the legislation has certain timelines. First of all, this report, which was agreed to by Action SA, was supposed to be done in 16 days. That's the first thing that they were chasing after, at least the ANC caucus in Parliament. But there's a specific clause, which I don't talk to in the article, but it's there in the Act. It says, should you amend, you give the Minister of Finance 46 hours or 48 hours to comment, and that comment must be included in the final report which gets tabled before the National Assembly. You will not find anywhere reference to 30 days or referral back to the Treasury or making a recommendation. And what is disappointing about how the media has approached this and all the commentators, no one has asked the leader of Busa, Mosimaimane, Songezo Zivi, and everyone else, which legislation are you using to frame these interventions that you are looking at in the next 30 days?
Dr. Gumani Chishomola, EFF Senior Researcher, thank you for talking to us this afternoon.